ما ملأ ابن آدم وعاء شرا من بطنه. The son of Adam never filled a container worse in his stomach. SubhanAllah, we just pull in it until we cannot breathe no more. لا إله إلا الله. إيه؟ شو متعشم؟ شايف لا في نفس ولا في شيء؟ So inshallah today we'll Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. We're going to start inshallah the Bab al-Salat. Bab al-Salat. And many of you remember the hadith when Jibreel alayhi salam came down and he prayed with the Prophet of Allah and prayed with the Prophet of Allah. First time came to teach the Prophet of Allah the timing of the prayer. So the first time he came, they prayed the al-awqat, each prayer and the beginning of the time. The beginning of the time. And the second time came down and they prayed the prayer and the end of the time. And Jibreel said between the two timing, it's the time of each prayer. So between the end and then the waqtul laka wa li ummatik. So you could choose between the beginning of the prayer until the end of the prayer. You can choose a time and where you can perform the prayer. نزل جبريل عليه السلام فصلى بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلاة في أول الوقت. وفي المرة الثانية نزل فصلى في آخر الوقت فقال ما بين هذا وهذا وقت لك ولأمتك. فيعني الأحناف عندهم تعريف للصلاة جميل جدا جميل. يعني يقول الأحناف تجب الصلاة في جزء من الوقت مطلقا على المكلف تعيينه بالأداء. It's a beautiful definition of when the salat become obligatory or when you must perform the prayer. So قالوا تجب الصلاة في جزء من الوقت مطلقا. So you can announce the time of if you say between the Asr and the Maghrib, let's say 2 hours. So basically you get to decide the time of the prayer, when to pray, in the beginning, in the middle, or three-quarter way. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال عن أبي برزة الأسلمي رضي الله تعالى عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي الهجير التي تدعونها الصلاة الأولى حين تدحض الشمس ويصلي العصر ثم يرجع أحدنا إلى رحله في أقصى المدينة والشمس حية وكان يستحب أن يؤخر من العشاء وكان يكره النوم قبلها والحديث بعدها وكان ينفتل من صلاة الغداة حتى يعرف الرجل جريسه وكان يقرأ بالستين إلى المئة. So Abu Barazah قال the Prophet of Allah used to صلي الهجير التي تدعون الصلاة الأولى, which is صلاة الظهر, حين تدحض الشمس, shortly after the sun moved to from the middle of the sky. So in the middle of the sky, that's waqtul karaha. Shortly after the sun will move from the middle of the sky. So here's what the Prophet of Allah used to offer Salatul Dhuhr, right in the beginning of the time. Now we know Jibreel prayed in the end as well, but that's the rukhsa. So the best thing to perform the prayer in the beginning of the time. أفضل الصلاة هي الصلاة على وقتها. الصلاة يعني عند بداية الوقت. فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يصلي الظهر حين تزول الشمس. And he used to pray the Asr, and when we leave the masjid, the sun was still strong in the sky, like it's still shining in there. So that tells you that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ never used to delay the Asr until whatever an hour after the Adhan, never. So they used to pray the Asr also on time. And when they leave the masjid, you can imagine now they pray the Asr, they pray and the Adhkar, and they spoke to the Prophet of Allah. That takes a long time. So they said, even though when we leave the masjid, the sun is still shining and clear in the sky. So it's right on time as well. وَكَانَ يَسْتَحِبُّ أَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ الْعِشَاء, but the Prophet of Allah, he likes to delay the time of the Isha or the prayer of the Isha. He used to delay it. وَكَانَ يَكْرَهُ النَّوْمَ قَبْلَهَا, and he used to hate to sleep before the Isha. So that's strange of the Prophet of Allah. So never used to sleep before the Isha, and never liked to speak after performing the Isha. So he does not sleep before, or does not talk after the Isha. So subhanallah. after. وكان ينتفل من صلاة الغداء صلاة الفجر حتى يعرف الرجل جليسا. When they leave the masjid, so they notice each other. So you know that's how long it take them to get to that point, to be able to know your neighbor or the guy who's walking beside you, especially in the desert where there's no light, no street light, no candles in that time and the street, so it's very dark. So وكان يقرأ بالستين إلى المئة, he used to recite between 60 and 200 verses of the Quran, and that's in salat, especially salat al-fajr, salat al-ghada. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا اشتد الحر فأبردوا بالصلاة. During the extreme heat, فأبردوا بالصلاة, wait till the weather cools down. So that's the Salatul Dhuhr. Salatul Dhuhr, Salatul Dhuhr, the most for Salatul Dhuhr. During the extreme weather, if there's we don't have to experience this in Canada, but in the Middle East, may Allah Azza wa Jal help them all. In the summer, during summer, the temperature reached to 50 degrees or 60 degrees. Last year, it was at 65 degrees in Qatar, 65, 70. So even the traffic light melted from the heat. The traffic light melted out. So during the extreme weather, you must delay the time of the dhuhr a little bit until the weather cools down. Just give people chance to get to the salat. فإن شدة الحر من فيح جهنم. The extreme hot, that's from the fayh of Jahannam. May Allah Azza wa Jal save us from Jahannam. So now you know like I was talking to 3-4 days ago here about the timing of the prayer. It's not Quran. I mean, you get to choose when to perform the prayer, when you can delay it. So the Prophet of Allah used to give them a chance to come, and they can settle at their homes until the weather cools down, and then they can come. والعشاء أحيانا وأحيانا إذا رآهم اجتمعوا عجل. And even the Salat al-Isha, if the Sahaba they were able to arrive or to make it to the masjid quickly, he used to pray the Isha right away. As soon as he find all the Sahaba, they're there, no one is missing, so they pray the Isha. There's no 15-minute time or half-hour time or 10-minute time. That doesn't exist in that time. The Imam must look around to the regular attenders. If they're around, no one is late, so they can perform the Isha. والصبح كانوا, also الصبح كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصليها بغلس. The صلاة الفجر كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصليها بغلس, يعني it's still dark. So in the beginning of the time, so they begin صلاة الفجر when it's still dark, and he reads 60 to 100 verse, and the adhkar, by the time they leave the masjid, they should be able to know each other on the street. So that's how so a half hour or 45-minute delay between the adhan and the qama. This is not the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam whatsoever. I know we get to the point, some musalla they have 45 minutes. Some it's become like half hour before the sunrise. Come on, this is not a fajr no more. I mean, half hour reasonable. Give the people time to wake up and make it to the masjid. But more than 45 minutes, I don't think that's the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وعن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها قالت أعتم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذات ليلة حتى ذهب عامة الليل وحتى نام أهل المسجد ثم خرج فصلى وقال إنه لوقتها لولا أن أشق على أمتي. So the Prophet of Allah, once he waited until it become pitch black, very dark, so that you can tell it's after the midnight, until the people slept. Even the people who was in the masjid, they slept in that night, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam delayed the time of Isha. ثم خرج, and then he performed the waqt al-Isha, and he said, this is the best time, but I just want to make things easy for my ummah. After midnight. So subhanallah, in the summer here when we pray 11:45, it becomes difficult for some people. So you can imagine Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed the Isha after midnight, and he said, this is the time of the Isha, but I just want to make things easy for my ummah. So he performed the Isha in the beginning of the time. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن other hadith قال أصبحوا بالصبح فإنه أعظم لأجوركم. أصبحوا بالصبح, that means pray and the time, right? And the time you'll get the top reward, and instead of delaying the Fajr till later. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue reading some more hadith about the timing of the prayer. Even here, كنا نصلي المغرب مع رسول الله فينصرف أحدنا وإنه ليبصر مواقع نبله. They said we used to pray the Maghrib with the Prophet of Allah, and the way out we were able to notice the place of our target. So if you have bow and arrow and you have a target, so they will still able to see the place of the target. So it tells you that they pray the Maghrib as well, and the beginning of the time there is no delay of the Maghrib. So in the Maghrib, when the 5 minutes, would we have 5 minutes or 10 minutes? 10 minutes is just fair time. That's the beginning of the time. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. But if inshallah, if you have to pray the Maghrib late, that's if you're driving, you're traveling, and you're allowed to pray the Maghrib before the time of Isha, قبل ظهور الشفق الأحمر في السماء. So it's the best time in the beginning, but if you have to delay it until before the beginning of the other prayer, it will be accepted inshallah azza wa jal, and we'll continue tomorrow. تقبل الله جميعا منا ومنكم.